I'm Elise, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Today I am filming my February TBR. I'm also filming this on my boyfriend's fancy camera, so if there's any issues with it, then like, please bear with me. I'm trying to figure it out, but hopefully the quality's better, if nothing else. But yeah, this is my February TBR. I have 10 books here that I'm going to talk about. Now, I'm not anticipating that I'm going to be reading all 10 of these. I do have a vlog that I want to film in February, which is going to be reading specific books, which are not on this TBR, so the chances of me getting to all 10 of them I think are pretty low, but they're all ones that I'm just really in the mood for. So yeah, without any further ado, let's just go through all the books. Okay, the first one I have is one that I mentioned in my beginning of the year book tag for a series that I wanted to read, and it is Gods and Monsters by Amber V. Nicole. The first book is Book of Azrael. This one I don't know too much about, I just know that it is a dark fantasy romance. I believe it's also urban fantasy, and that our main girly is the morally grey kind of villainous character, which I think is really cool because I love a morally grey man in my books. You know, call me basic, I do like it. But the idea of it being the girly in this is so exciting to me and so cool. So yeah, I don't really want to know too much about it. I just kind of want to go in blind, but also depending on how I feel about this book, if I love it, I may end up just binging all 3 books that are currently out. Next up is one from my top 12 books to read in 2025, and it is A Touch of Darkness by Scarlett Sinclair. This is another one I don't know a lot about. You'll notice a theme. I don't tend to like finding out a lot about the books that I'm going to read. I don't like giving myself expectations, if that makes sense. I like to just go in and enjoy. This is a Hades and Persephone retelling. I believe this is also urban fantasy. I think, from what I've heard, I think that Hades is some kind of like club owner or something like that, and he ends up in a game with Persephone where they're bargaining for something. I also think that Persephone is struggling to use her spring goddess power, so she's unable to create life at the moment, and I'm assuming that's going to be some kind of big part of the series. But yeah, I think this is going to be fun. I think this series is just going to be like a quick, fun, easy time, and that's kind of what I'm in the mood for right now. I just want to be able to have fun with what I'm reading. While we're on the topic, let's go through another one that is on my top 12 books to read, and that is Bloom by Delilah S. Dawson. This is a short little horror novella that I know nothing about beyond sapphics and cannibals. This especially I don't want to know anything about because it's so short. So I feel like knowing any kind of plot will just kind of impact my enjoyment. I mentioned this in my top 12 books, but like this cover, I am obsessed with the cover of this book. I think it is one of the most beautiful book covers I've ever seen, but I'm really hoping I enjoy this one because Delilah S. Dawson has a lot of other books that I think sound really interesting. If I enjoyed this one, it makes me feel like I can go ahead and pick up her other books because the chances of me enjoying them are also a lot higher. Okay, now let's get into some series continuations. So the next 3 books I have are next books in series that I really enjoyed. So the first one is A Cruel and Fated Light by Ashley Shuttleworth. This is the sequel to, what is the first one called? A Dark and Hollow Star. A Dark and Hollow Star, which I read towards the end of 2024 and I really, really enjoyed. It's like YA/new adult, I would say, urban fantasy, and it gave me the feeling, not in terms of plot, just in terms of like vibe, of reading Shadowhunters, which I love the Shadowhunters books. I've been reading them since I was 12, so any book that gives me the same kind of feelings as that is going to be a hit for me. But yeah, this is the second one. It follows a group of teenagers who are all, you know, they all have different powers, they're all doing different things in life, but they come together to defeat this big bad evil. And I just had a really good time with it. I just thought it was really fun. So I'm really, really keen to pick up the second one. Okay, and then the next one is a series that I've talked about quite a few times because it's one of my new favourite series of all time, but it is the 4th book in the Beasts of the Briar series by Elizabeth Helen, Broken by Daylight. I won't lie, I've kind of been putting off reading this book for 2 reasons. Number one, the end of book 3 hurt me. It really broke my heart, and the way it's set up for book 4 has really scared me. So I've kind of been putting off reading it, but also book 5, I know that the authors have finished their first draft of book 5 now, but there's no release date for it, so I don't know when I'm getting the next book in this. So based on the previous books, I know that this is going to leave on a big cliffhanger that's going to break my heart, and I don't think I'm ready to wait. But I love this series so much, and I love these characters, so I'm going to just bite the bullet and get into it. This is a fantasy romance, reverse harem, Beauty and the Beast inspired book. We have our main girly Rosie, and we have 4 fae princes, and they're all in love with her, and they're in love with each other, and it's just everything to me. I can't rave about this series enough. I absolutely adore it. Okay, and then this next one I really need to read because book 5 is coming out in February, and it is The Mask Falling by Samantha Shannon, which is the 4th book in the Bone Season series. And as I just said, book 5 is coming out I think at the end of February, so I want to have this one read so that I can pick book 5 up kind of immediately once I get my hands on it. This has become one of my favorite series as well. It's so unique and so different from so many other fantasy series that I've read. I wouldn't even know if I'd class it as a fantasy series. It's like a fantasy, sci-fi, dystopian mix, but this series also hurts me. I've cried in every book. This series breaks my heart, and I feel like from what I heard when this one came out, this one just destroyed people. So I don't know if I'm excited about that, but we're gonna be reading it anyway, and I can't wait. This is a 5-star prediction for me. I love this series, and I love Samantha Shannon's writing. The last 2 books I have physically are both beautiful FairyLoot copies. So the first one is The Crimson Moth by Kristen Cicarelli. This one I know is it's YA / kind of new adult. I think it's somewhere on the cusp of those. And it is about a witch and a witch hunter who end up falling in love, which is a trope that I love because that is like forbidden love with stakes. There's consequences to it. It's, you know, I really, really like that trope. Also, this cover is so beautiful. Like I said, it's the FairyLoot copy. I'm assuming they're gonna do book 2 in a matching edition as well, and I think book 2 comes out soon, so I want to get this one read so that if I like it I can pick up book 2. I believe our main girlie is she's a witch in hiding, but she kind of pretends to be this vapid kind of head in the clouds socialite, but really she's working with the witches. And then the main male love interest is a witch hunter who is trying to hunt her specifically, and they end up in a relationship, and I know it's going to be messy, and I'm really excited. I've seen so many positive reviews from people that I follow for this book, so I have really high expectations for this one. And then the last physical book I have is this one. I think is just going to be fun. And it's Long Live Evil by Sarah Roos Brennan. This one I'm not going into thinking this is going to be a new favourite book of all time. I'm going into this thinking I think I'm going to have a damn good time reading this. So this to me has like an anime plot, which is kind of why I'm intrigued about it. So from what I remember, our girlie is ill. She has some kind of, you know, terminal illness, and she's in the hospital, and she somehow wakes up in the world of her favourite fantasy book series, but she is the villain. And that is so cool to me. That sounds like it's going to be so fun. And I also, from all the reviews that I've heard of this book, I have just heard that it is a fun read. I think this is also going to be quite quick to get through. And like I said, it sounds like an anime plot. And I'm a big anime fan, as you may be able to tell from my you know, tattoos. I love anime, so anything that gives me anime vibes, I will be picking up. I have a cat on the back of my chair. I have a visitor. Come say hi. Okay, the last 2 books I have are not ones that I have physically, so I'm just going to put a photo of them up on the screen here. But the first one is A Soul to Heal by Opal Rain, which is the 2nd book in the Duskwalker Bride series. I read the first one, A Soul to Keep, in January, and I really, really enjoyed it. This is a monster romance, and from what I kind of anticipated of it, I thought it was gonna feel more dark romance. It was not. The main male lead, who is the monster, is the softest boy. He is so sweet and so soft and so gentle, and I loved it. I had such a good time with it, and so that's made me really excited to carry on with the series. I impulse bought the Fae Crate editions of the whole series, all 8 books. Before I'd even read the first one, I just thought they were pretty, and so I wanted them. So I'm so happy that I liked the first one, and I'm praying that I love the second one just as much, because I spent way too much money getting these books. So if I don't end up loving the series, I'm gonna be really mad. But yeah, this is the second one. I don't really know too much about the plot, but I know that the male character in this is someone who got introduced in book 1, and I really, really liked him in book 1, so I'm excited to see him have his love story and find a human for himself. So yeah, I'm excited to pick this one up. Then the last book I have fits into the kind of vibe that I keep saying of, I want books that are fun. I want fun, easy books to read. So I want to pick up Psycho Shifters by Jasmine Mass. This is the author of Blood of Hercules, which I haven't read yet. I do really want to read, but I haven't read that one yet. But this one, the reason I want to pick this one up is because I have been binging I believe it's The Bonds That Tie is the series title name by Jay Bree this month. And I've been having so much fun with this just kind of like quick, easy, fast-paced, reverse harem fantasy romance series. So I was kind of looking for books that were similar, and this series came up. This one I know also has some stuff in the reverse harem. It has some sword crossing, which I tend to really enjoy in my reverse harem books. But this one I'm going into purely just based off it's in some capacity similar to the Bonds That Tie series. I know from what I've heard that Jasmine Mass's writing is really funny, and this, well, but just based on Psycho Shifters, I know it's some kind of shifter romance. I feel like I also read somewhere that it's Omegaverse, which I'm not mad about. Listen, I'm a fan fiction reader. I've read my fair share of Omegaverse stuff, so I'm not mad about it. I'm sure she said like in the synopsis that this is like not your traditional Omegaverse, so I'm excited to see what she does with it. But yeah, I just want this one for a good fun time. And like I said with the Book of Azriel, if I end up really enjoying this one, I may just binge the series this month. But yeah, that was my February TBR. These are all the 10 books that I'm hopeful that I might get to in February. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and feel free to give it a like if you liked it and subscribe if you feel like it. And hopefully I will see you in a new video again soon. Bye!